The space race between the United States and China continued to escalate in the early 2020s, as both nations sought to expand their presence in space. The rivalry extended from lunar exploration to the development of space stations and advanced space technologies. As this competition intensified, global attention was divided between these two superpowers. The United States and China found themselves in a new kind of space race, one that extended beyond the Earth's atmosphere. This space race wasn't just about reaching the Moon or Mars, it was about establishing a dominant presence in space and harnessing its vast potential. In the backdrop of the space race, tensions between Russia and Ukraine were also on the rise. The conflict in eastern Ukraine, which began in 2014, had never truly been resolved. By the early 2020s, sporadic clashes continued along the ceasefire line, leading to fears that a full-scale conflict could erupt at any moment. International efforts to mediate the situation had yielded limited success, and the region remained a geopolitical hotspot. The ongoing tensions between Russia and Ukraine continued to escalate, with Russia increasing its military presence along the border, and Ukraine seeking support from Western allies. The international community was deeply concerned about the situation, and diplomatic efforts were in full swing to find a peaceful resolution. However, as the standoff continued, there were fears of a potential military conflict. The United States and its European allies imposed sanctions on Russia, while Russia accused the West of interfering in its regional affairs. The situation remained fragile, with both sides engaging in military exercises and brinkmanship. In the Middle East, the ongoing conflict between Israel and Hamas had taken a new turn. Despite several attempts at ceasefires, the cycle of violence persisted. Both sides remained deeply entrenched in their positions, and the civilian population on both sides continued to suffer the consequences of the ongoing hostilities. The international community struggled to broker a lasting peace agreement that would address the underlying issues that perpetuated the conflict. Efforts to resolve the Israel-Palestine conflict, which had been ongoing for decades, seemed as challenging as ever. Both sides blamed each other for the continued violence, and the civilian population in the region suffered the most. Protests and demonstrations were held worldwide, with calls for a peaceful resolution and the establishment of a Palestinian state alongside Israel. The United States, with its rich history in space exploration and a well-established space agency, NASA, has long been a leader in space technology. However, China, driven by its rapid economic growth and political ambitions, was eager to catch up and surpass the United States. China made significant strides in space exploration, launching its space station called Tiangong and landing multiple rovers on Mars. They also initiated plans for mining asteroids and establishing a permanent lunar base. Meanwhile, the United States, under a new administration, redoubled its efforts, aiming to return humans to the Moon and push forward with missions to Mars. These simultaneous global challenges, space race, Russia-Ukraine tensions, and the Israel-Hamas conflict, highlighted the complex nature of our interconnected world. As nations pursued their ambitions and disputes raged on, the need for diplomacy, cooperation, and peaceful solutions became more critical than ever. The world watched with bated breath, hoping for positive developments in these areas and a more stable and peaceful future.